Right. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm here with the lovely Tanya McCready, and Tanya McCready, together with her husband, Hank de Bruin, are the co-owners and the co-founders of Winterdance Dog Sled Tours. And today, the question I'm asking relates to the leadership training. And the question is, what are the typical brands, Tanya, that your customers would engage with?
For sure. Being that most of our clients are executives, certainly one of the most, I guess, iconic things that successful people wear is their watch, or that's so important to them as a statement. And gosh, whether it be Rolex or Tag or all these other beautiful, beautiful, expensive watches, but we often tell the story that a watch is an incredibly important piece of Hank's equipment as well. When people ask him what the most important things that he carries with him, and needless to say, on a sled for 1,000 miles, every single thing that's packed is very important, but one of the top two things he says every single time somebody asks him that is his watch. And his isn't anything like the watch in the picture here. And not that he'd maybe be opposed to wearing a Tag or something if they offered him one, but the watch that he wears, it's very simple. This one's pretty beat up, and it's just from Mark's Work Warehouse in Canada, and it's a Wind River watch, costs like $20, $25. But what he likes about it is it's a carabiner, so it snaps on to the suspenders on his big inner parka, so it stays warm. The battery doesn't freeze. It does light up at night, so he can quickly see, and it does glow in the dark as well. But what for him, the reason this is most important, it doesn't have anything to do with a symbol of success necessarily, but it helps him know where he is. It helps him know when he needs to stop to feed the dogs, because the dogs get fed every 2 hours when he's running, so he can make sure that his team's being well cared for. It also helps him tell us how far he's gone. So if he knows when he leaves a checkpoint that he has 50 miles to the next checkpoint, he can tell the speed the team is running at just by watching them. So by knowing what their approximate traveling speed is and his time when he left the checkpoint, he knows approximately when he's going to get into that next checkpoint. So if the team's moving faster, he might hold off resting them, if he knows they're 20, 30 minutes to a checkpoint for a little bit. Or if they're going slower and, he's looking at his watch, he's like, no, we need to break this run up and stop and rest for 3 or 4 hours before going on. So it's a huge vital tool to his arsenal, just as it is to anybody putting on a suit that that's their symbol of feeling powerful and confident.
Yeah, the question I would ask is, for example, would a Rolex, would the batteries freeze, like way out in those conditions there that Hank was running in?
Yeah, I don't know. I know there's some adventure watches. I don't know if Rolex has one. I know Tag and some of them do that, say their watches are good for mountaineers and all these crazy adventure things. So who knows? Maybe we'll have to get Hank to try one of them on his next race, but not sure he'd spend 10,000 for one.
Wow. And now let's talk about these two photographs, because we've got two now very enigmatic, symbolic pictures there. What would you say about these?
Yeah, and we also talk about, the proper gear for doing your job. When we speak to corporations, quite often we're in high-powered meetings or business rooms, and we kind of stand out because most of the people that we're presenting to, are in beautiful tailored clothing, men in power suits and women in beautiful business suits, and it works in their world. It certainly doesn't work in our world.
Yes.
So, but you have to use what works for you. And this is Hank, in his world. This was coming into Dawson, so halfway through his 1,000-mile race, and a lot more clothing. And if you add it all up, probably about as expensive as those beautiful Armani suits, but tons of layers. So Under Armour base layers. When it's really cold, he'll wear 2 or 3 layers of Under Armour base layer against his skin, and then fleece and wool is his mid layer. He's got a huge, we always tease him, he looks like the, what do they call it? The Pillsbury, the dairy boy that has all the puffy guy around him. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Because he has a big poofy coat that he puts over that, and then that big red suit over top of that. Just crazy layers to keep warm. But for him, that's what he needs to thrive in his environment, no different than, business people need to dress their part in their environment.
Wow. That is absolutely incredible. Very inspirational story there. So thank you very, very much for that. Then you've been listening to Tanya McCready, and if you would like more details, you can contact Tanya on the email address shown on the screen, or you can visit them on their website on winterdance.com. So then that's all. So please feel free to like, reach out, subscribe to the videos, and we look forward to hearing from you in due course.